Women. We have a very special guest with us. Her name is Mary Fidelio. She is from MeFirst Life Coaching, founder, and she specializes in transformation coaching. She says she's the new prescription to life. So we're going to hear more about coaching, about how she does it, about her techniques. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, that's great. Thank you for being here. So we're going to be talking more about what is it that you do. You're the founder of MeFirst Life Coaching. Can you explain to me what that is?
MeFirst Life Coaching was really me falling into the passion of coaching because I was like at my own dark place in my life. It just so happens that it complements my initials, the branding behind it with the white and the gold. It's just to bring clarity to life, giving people their gold nuggets in life that they deserve. And that's pretty much what it communicates.
Yeah, and tell me, so what is your experience and how do you get to that point? For example, you have some, I think, coaching experience?
I do. Ironically enough, through being a single mom of two, I started up with the soccer coaching and was with an awesome club for over 15 years. And then
15 years,
over 15 years
wow.
of coaching soccer, children of ages as young as 3 and as old as 18. And I saw it coming up. It was every time I was giving directive of some kind of play, it just sort of played into life. And I built a lot of really great relationships with that.
That's awesome. Now, if you can communicate to the world one thing about your business, what would that be?
My business, well, as I made a point of already saying, it is the new prescription to your life. It's I help people see a new vision. I leave them with empowerment. I leave them with in a pensive state of being so that they can see that they can grow from where they are. And I just sort of open doors for them.
And how would you do that?
I do it with actually inviting people to an initial consultation.
Okay, so tell me about the initial consultation.
The initial consultation can be as brief as 30 minutes or as long as 2 hours, depending on what it is that the individual is after. The 30 minutes is just sort of if they're like, there's one particular area in their life that they want to discuss and really target at it, then that's where that would take place.
Okay, so in that 30 minutes or 2 hours, what do? You ask questions?
I do make a point of having a template of questions that I ask them. The bigger piece that is the most important ingredient is the listening of what it is that the person's actually communicating. When you sit back and you listen to the choices of words that people are using, you can see exactly what it is that they're not saying rather than what they are saying. So I'm journaling and documenting it, and then that will actually be the primer for me to invite them back to have an actual session where I can take them into a different level of coaching.
Right.
And at that point, should they decide to come back, that's when I create an environment with proper sounds and atmosphere, maybe some essential oils or a meditative state where I'll have them just lay down and breathe and be in the moment, be present.
That sounds really nice. Now, have you, can you share with me an experience that you had with a person that you have helped?
My, I guess, joys where my heart and soul sort of expands in satisfaction of feeling like I've contributed to someone is when I hear them come back to me and I'll get feedback like, oh my God, I've got a new date of birth. It's April 1st because that was their by when date that they were going to accomplish something that had been burdening them for so long. And
by one day?
Yeah, it's
what's that supposed to mean?
It's like, let's talk about the big crutch. Okay. Everyone wants to lose weight. That's nice.
Okay.
By when? Right? It's more committed when you actually assign an expiration date to it. That if you
Right.
don't get it done by this time, then what are you going to do at that point, kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So you're further committed when you give it a by when date.
I see. Okay. And so in regards to the experience, I know you've helped some people. Do you have any specific, thing that comes to mind?
With respect to
Any of your clients that you've helped?
I've helped various individuals. Have it be that some are like as simple as rewriting their resume. Someone has said, "Oh, I'm just a customer service clerk at a grocery store." No, let's look at this and see how you can talk the corporate talk, and I'll help them through that. And that, it's not really that I'm saying that I help design the resume.
Right.
It's building the character that they don't see within. Because we think small. A lot of times people are defaulting back to, I won't be able to do that, whereas they're bigger than life.
Right. Any specific techniques that you use with your coaching?
The common one that I use is what I call the circle of life.
Okay.
There's 6 different categories that are highlighted there. So if someone's in a rut that they really cannot figure out what it is that's burdening them in their life, then I'll give them the categories. Is it professional? Is it relationship? Is it finances that's like torturing you, or your wellness, or emotionally? How healthy are you emotionally, or even spiritually? Like, some people will have really dark moments that will have them questioning their spirituality, and then you just feel really lost, right?
Okay, so let's go back to the circle of life. So you have this circle, this pie, and it's cut into different pies, right?
Yes.
And then, so basically you try to figure out what the person needs?
Yes, through the questioning styles.
Okay.
And when I'm journaling what they're saying, then there's also a percentage factor that, like, they'll do their own. I'll give them the circle of life graphic, and they'll put the percentage of how much it's bothering them, and they can be documenting and journaling things that they say too.
Interesting. So from there, you can figure out where they need most help.
Yes.
And
well, they're the key driver too, right?
Right.
Because just because you might need the most help financially doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they're ready to be dealing with.
Right.
As well, right? Like, maybe someone might be more passionate about dealing with the matters of the heart, and they figure that everything else will fall into place afterwards, right? So,
for example, in my case, if we could use this, make it a little more personal, I find that I'm not sure if I'm dealing with my time management, or I have too many things on my plate, because we multitask so much, right? Sometimes I question that. So where would that fit, and how would you be able to help me, for example, with that part of the pie?
Well, with that part, time management, the average defaulting tools with respect to getting your calendar, plugging in what's a must to do kind of thing, and then filtering in what is of a priority. But having said that, at the same time, I'm a firm believer that I just want to heighten people's awareness that, you're going to be present where your presence is needed, right? So rather than self-inflicting all these anxieties, we're designed to do so many things. Just do it. Just be it. Be in that moment, kind of thing.
Instead of resisting it.
Instead of resisting it.
Okay.
And that even goes back to the fact that I don't give myself a title of being a life coach. If you see my business card reads human being. And that's because a lot of us forget to be our first given name.
Right.
The human being that we are.
Who we are as a person.
Yeah.
And now tell me, as a businesswoman, as a mom, you have 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
So how do you organize your day?
How do I organize my day? Well, I actually raised 2 really phenomenal leaders, of my own. So therefore, it frees up a lot of my time where everybody's doing their own thing. And my day really just starts with gratitude first, a few stretches. I make a point of making sure that my nourishment is packed from home all the time. And I just unfold and I give the best that I can give of myself. So the way that I teach my kids, that you need to be present and always live making that first impression at any given time.
And any specifics of those areas, because as a woman, sometimes it's so difficult because we deal with so many things. Anything that you feel that you do a little different to help you through that day?
Self-assessing. Self-assessing is really important. Just simply because it leaves you unattached emotionally, so therefore you're present and reacting organic to the way that the day is unfolding, and it leaves you with a really healthy, hearty life.
Okay.
It really does.
Thank you for that. So here we are talking to Mary Fidelio, founder of MeFirst Life Coaching. She specializes in transformation. She is a new prescription to life. So we'll be right back here with Us Women. I'm your host. Welcome back to Us Women. I'm your host, Karina, and I'm having a very interesting conversation here with the founder of MeFirst Life Coaching, Mary Fidelio. She specializes in transformation, and she is the new prescription to life. Thank you, Mary, for being here. I'm excited about this.
Thanks.
So I wanted to find out more about you. Tell me, how do you define yourself as a woman?
I define myself as a survivor. And a creator, of course. As life always rolls, we always get dumped with many challenges along the way, but it's literally what it is that you do with it rather than without it, kind of thing. So an example of that would be that my children and I suffered a near-death car accident, and I've been left with chronic injuries that really, if I hadn't been sharing this right now, you wouldn't even know. I made my whole reason why so for example, if people say, oh, I'm in too much pain and I can't work out. Well, I was in so much pain and I knew that it was important to keep moving. And what did I do? I created a women's fitness that then spun off and then ended up getting acknowledgement through the Toronto Observer newspaper that wrote an article on how I inspired women and got them through that piece.
That for you was a very difficult experience. Let's go back to the car accident.
Absolutely.
So that happens with you and your children, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a while back?
It was in 2003. My daughter didn't walk for me for the first 48 hours, so therefore did not walk immediately after that. The accident. For the first 48 hours, she had severed her tongue. I wasn't paying attention to my own injuries for that purpose. And currently, I live with herniated discs, bulging discs, root nerve damage, as well as now the injuries are so aggressive that they're actually pressing in two areas on my spinal cord. So my mother, being the European background that I am, is like, what are you doing? You're breaking yourself up even more. And I'm like, you don't understand. If I stop moving, then I will not move. So that's what I mean with respect to the message that for every time you think that you can't do something, it is probably your message that's being amplified that it's the reason why you should be doing it. And when you're alone with two kids, you're the template. You're what they're seeing.
You have to be
You need to very much, I'm a huge fan of Robin Sharma, and you have to lead by example, right?
So out of that accident, you said that because you were in so much pain, so what happened? Describe to me what happened after that. You said you created something.
Well, I created the women's fitness, right?
Women's fitness.
So
what was that? What is that?
Well, weight has always been a monstrous anchor for me. I was born over 10 pounds, right? So growing up, it sort of haunted me throughout my whole lifetime. Being pregnant of my daughter took me to 265 pounds. And at 239 pounds, and with these injuries, because I had gone down to 200 pounds, and then the injuries literally crippling me really started making the weight come back on, right? And having said that, everyone knows that with every pound that you're overweight, it's 7 pounds of pressure on all your joints, right? So I said, what can I do that's going to create something where it's a win-win?
Right.
I'm losing my weight again. I'm actually inspiring other people. And there was so many gorgeous souls that I had the pleasure of coaching as women that I literally, they supported me. So if I was having a bad day and I was showing them how to move and I was teaching them these warm-ups. It was a 90-minute segment where I would take 20 minutes and do a warm-up, and anything that I would learn in physio or wherever it was that I was getting my professional help from, I would bring it there, or in yoga or whatever. And I would literally train these people to be present in this soccer in spirit, mind, and soul, and physically as well. And I would get them in proper alignment, and then we would do the lesson plan, which, of course, being certified with my 3 levels of certification through the Ontario Soccer Association, I bring that in, and my creativity of creating those different drills were a lot of fun. Like, they weren't just textbook drills. And then we would break out into a friendly scrimmage.
Look at that. So you took something really dramatic,
yes,
and dangerous, and transformed it into something that you could help others and other women as well that maybe were going through the same sort of situation.
Yes.
Very interesting. And you had all that experience with the soccer coaching, and that's good.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm very impressed with that. Tell me, any important person in your life, something that you sort of admire, follow?
I admire, oh my God. I have 2 gorgeous children. They're wonderful. I have a beautiful man that I've been with for almost 8 years. And ladies, if you allow yourself to open up, trust me, those men can teach you some lessons too. It's not all about us.
What lessons? Share a couple with me. Let's see. I'm intrigued now.
Well, it's the noise that we create. Like, I mean, a lot of times people are living in this space where, if you've been dating for 6 months, it must be this way or it must be that way. Just be present. It is what it is. And sometimes we just jump the gun. Like, I mean, if somebody is private, right, then all of a sudden sometimes we might think, oh, what are they up to? You become suspicious. No, they're just private. Maybe you talk too much. And I know I'm guilty of that. And my boyfriend says that to me all the time. Just quiet.
What are you doing with your hands? Like,
I
quiet?
close my mouth. Or he'll just very politely say, are you done yet?
Right. So basically, respecting each other's differences?
Respecting each other's differences, being open to receiving. Because you know what? Everything that we go through adds value. The good, the bad, the ugly, it's all there for a purpose.
Okay, you know what? This is a very delicate area. Because I asked you before, what is the area that people ask for help the most? And you said?
I said relationships.
Relationship. So in your experience, with what you're saying right now, what tips can you give out? Because this is kind of interesting, especially for single mom or single women that are looking for men out there.
Well, honestly, to be quite honest, for me, I spent a lifetime chasing the wrong relationship. As far as I'm concerned, yes. Like, I mean, and I say this openly because my children come from a different relationship, right? And that was a failed relationship. And when I fast forward into today's time, and I look back at that, I settled for that. Because why? My self-esteem was really low. I had no confidence. I was lost with my faith. So there was a lot of things that I didn't see clearly in front that were sitting in my blind spot. And all I'm saying is that the first most important relationship, they're right. That's the one that they should be chasing with respect to correcting that piece. Relationship is important, but it's not relationship with the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever your preference is. It's the relationship with self and whatever your core beliefs are. So have it be that it's Buddha or Ali or God or universe or vortex, whatever it is that you want to believe in. That's where that me first comes. You have to find yourself. You have to know who you are before you can allow anybody or anything else in.
So is that what you did?
Yes.
So
because
what did you do?
It's just amazing. Once you let go, things start to happen. Then I don't have to say, why aren't you calling me? Why aren't you texting me? Where are you? How come this?
No control.
Nothing. No control. You let it go. very much like the Disney Frozen. Let it go. Let it go. God, that should be my theme song when I come out on stage.
Yeah, first is the new prescription, and then just let it go.
Yes, exactly.
We have your motto.
Exactly.
That's incredible. So you're happy in that area. You're happy in that relationship. You feel fulfilled. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And like, I mean, I don't want people to think that this is like a Snow White birds chirping and everything like that. Life will always bring you challenges. Life will always bring you heartaches. But it's not even so much as the heartache or the challenge being there. It is what you do with that challenge that empowers you and makes you that much stronger as to where you're going next.
Yeah. Are you helping? What would you say you specialize in? Because I was going to ask you another question, but what do you say you specialize in your coaching?
Like I said, giving people a new perspective, like fine-tuning, like my whole thing, and I'm going to borrow a phrase that my beautiful friend Irma uses loosely.
And we had Irma in the show before.
Yes. So Irma loves to use the expression dances of conversations, right? Like, that's really what it's all about. Like, listening to them and seeing, customizing what the need is. Because, let's face it, we don't all wear a size 5 shoe, right? You have to see and understand where the person is at in their personal journey. And to be able to do that requires a really heightened technique of profiling effectively without judgment, right?
So, because I remember having a conversation with you, and you're saying that because of your experience, you feel more drawn towards children and women. Is that correct?
Yes. Children, again, my own personal thing was that I was told I would never be able to have children, and I overcame that, obviously. And there's a chemistry that happens with kids. Anytime I'm around them, I don't even have to say anything. It's like the eyes connect and the souls are playing in the playground. You know what I mean? It's just an awesome feeling that I get with them. And women, I think that piece comes from just the fact that I'm a woman, right? I can understand the noise that's going on in their head.
Those internal conversations.
That loud chatter that we allow in for an uninvited tea party. But yeah, I get where they're coming from. And I want to guide the way, you know, and I'm not sitting there forcing anybody there. I'm just saying, hey, hello, look, this is where I am. This is where I've come from. And if you're not open to conversation, you will never know what that person's been through. So sharing is huge. That's how we grow with one another.
What would you say would be your last message for our listeners?
Reach out. Reach out, because in a final comment, another tragedy that I witnessed this year, February 1st of 2016, was a suicide. And my heart just sort of seized, because I thought, in today's time, we have so many resources. So do not be shy. Do not feel like somebody's going to judge you. There are all sorts of people that are around you that are wanting to, you know, be of value to you. Just open up.
Get help, right?
Get the help you need. Stop the judgment from self.
Right.
Because it starts with choice.
Don't close down.
Yeah. It starts with choice.
Could be dangerous.
And choose to live, right?
Yes, definitely.
We're all born winners. We made it through, right?
Yes, absolutely. And how can the people get a hold of you?
Well, you can email me at thislifesforyou, and that's THISLIFE, the number 4, the letter U, @gmail.com.
Okay.
Google my name on Facebook. I'm very open
You're
to
on
anybody.
Facebook as
So
Mary
it's
Fidelio?
Mary Fidelio.
Okay.
Or you can look for MeFirst Life Coaching. I have a page on that as well.
Okay, your page is called first.
MeFirst Life Coaching.
MeFirst Life Coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
they can contact you
they
through
can
the
contact
page.
me there. I can leave my number as well, which is 416-302-7364.
Can you repeat that?
416-302-7364.
Mary, it's been a pleasure having you on the show as women. I've definitely learned, about the coaching and about relationship and about the circle of life. So those are very interesting techniques and things to bring into your life and to make it better. So thank you for being here.
And thank you so much for having me.
So there you have it, Mary Fidelio, MeFirst Life Coaching founder, specializes in transformation. She is a new prescription to life. And so we had a great show today, interview with Mary. We'll see you next week. This is your, Karina, your This is Karina, your host for Us Women. This is Karina, your host for Us Women. See you next week.
Beautiful souls, it's Mary Fidelio here again, founder of MeFirst Life Coaching, and I'm so excited to be with you again today. Today I just want to shine some light around relationships. What relationship are you chasing?